All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the Elmore County Commission work session dated Monday, January 23rd, 2017. I'd like to call the meeting to order. On the agenda, we have a public hearing listed related to the vacation of a section of Bellingrath Road. For your information, that petition was received by the Elmore County Commission in late 2016. We have fulfilled our responsibilities with that petition, and I appreciate all the county personnel and commissioners who have participated in learning more about that circumstance and situation. However, we will not be holding a public hearing tonight due to the fact that the petitioners and all of the adjacent landowners on Bellingrath Road have withdrawn the petition to vacate that portion of the road. We received a letter today, and therefore we will not be holding a public hearing tonight. Moving on with regular business. With a review of the minutes of the January 9, 2017 Commission meeting and corrections. Is there any comments or discussions about that, Commissioners? And review the memorandum of warrants for the period of January 5, 2017 through January 18, 2017. Neil?
The memorandum of warrants for the period of January 5th, 2017 through the 18th totals to an amount of $1,241,656.81.
Thank you. Any comments or discussion? Okay, moving to old business, we have a consideration for the Horseshoe Bend Regional Library Board appointment. This appointment is due February 13, 2017. We currently have no candidates that have submitted a letter of interest, unless any of you commissioners have received anything. Okay, we will continue to pursue candidates for that appointment. Anyone who is interested in that, we request that candidates submit a letter of interest to the County Commission office, and it will be reviewed, and we will move from there. Moving to new business, we have the consideration of Elmore Water Board appointment, which is due the 23rd of February, 2017. The candidate listed is Ronald L. Harris, Jr. Any comments or any additional names to be submitted? All right, moving forward, consider financing Highway Department equipment with Hancock Bank based on the lowest overall interest rates for the equipment package. Engineer Byer, could you share something about that with us?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, at the end of 2016, we sent out proposals for financing our motor graders and our truck fleet that is being rotated over, our Mack trucks, heavy-duty trucks. We sent out, I believe it was either 8 or 9 banks that had expressed interest or were in the area that were interested in quoting. We got 5 back, and out of those 5, Hancock Bank returned the lowest total rates on all the equipment. I think there was one variation between Hancock, and it was a 100th of a percentage point, so not enough to try to go between 2 banks. Hancock is actually the bank that I already currently is financing our equipment as well, so we should have a seamless transition as we get all our machinery delivered in the next few weeks. So,
thank you. Any comments or questions for Mr. Byer?
Just one, Chairman. What was the interest rate?
For the trucks, 2.23, and for the motor graders, 2.235. Excuse me, 2.35.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byer. Any other discussion or comments, questions? Okay, consideration of approving the county engineer to expend up to $30,000 to improve and relocate Burke Road off Grandview Road as per requested by the City of Millbrook to improve access into the Millbrook Business Park.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, typically when a city requests work from the county, it's a reimbursable agreement that occurs, and we are already authorized under current policy to do work for a municipality that way. This is a little bit different. Over the last year and a half, the Millbrook has tried to develop about a 90-acre tract of land off Grandview Road. And there's a very unimproved road that used to be an old county road the city took in called Burke Road. And it is not in any kind of shape for them to actually market the park and be able to get traffic in and out to show the main part. It's about 330 to 350 foot of a narrow access to get back to the main 90-acre tract. And what they're asking for us to do is do a little bit of relocation and improvement to that road, and they're asking the commission to basically match some existing investment that the city has already put in up to that $30,000 amount. Many of you know that we have nothing really marketable as a business park on the western side of the county near that interstate, and this has been an attempt for, like I said, the last 18 months or so to get us something in place. So they're asking for the county to take that in. Being that it's a city road, an existing city street, we're able to do that with road and bridge funds and not have to ask y'all to commit any kind of general fund money to it. So that should help with the investment if y'all should approve it. This is going to be something we'll perform on after hours, Friday, Saturday, so it doesn't interrupt our normal operations. And that has been clearly spelled out to the city should y'all approve this project. Current estimates is about a month's time frame, weather permitting, for us to knock this out and get it in place for them.
Thank you. Any comments, questions?
Chairman, if I can, the commission has historically made investments in other business parks throughout the county, so this would be surely a normal expense for the county to help promote their effort, and like Mr. Byard said, this would be give us one business park on the west side of the county to market. Not anything on that side of the county.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Mr. Byard, did you state that the city of Millbrook is participating in this particular part of the project, or they have already invested other funds for other parts?
They've already invested other funds equal or exceeding this amount to get the park in a position to market, environmental studies, clearing, that kind of stuff. So
okay.
I think even they've actually donated some property in the wetland areas to the AWF property that joins them to the west side in an attempt to try to mitigate some of those issues and put them into a place where they get credit for any other areas that have to be disturbed. So,
okay. Thank you. All right, we'll move to consider the Double Bridge Ferry Road funding agreement.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is a federal aid project that will take place on Double Bridge Ferry. It's set to let this month, and I'm sitting here looking for the actual link for you. I should already have it out. But this stretch will go from Chaina Creek out to East Cotton, and will resurface and widen, let's see, approximately 3.5 miles of road work there. It goes from Main Street to East Cotton and is 3.489 miles. And the administrator has done a very good job foregoing having to put the nice long project numbers in there for you, the STPNU numbers. But this is our regular federal aid that will accomplish this, and as y'all know and have seen through some of the documentation that we gave you, each county gets about $665,000, $667,000 with your match federal aid funds every year, and we have money for this year and some money that has been advanced from next year's proceeds to be able to complete this project. Total cost for this is a little over $1 million. County's match is $204,000.
All right. Thank you. Any comments, questions?
Any time frame on that, Mr. Byer?
If it lets this month, typically it's a 2-month time frame before contracts are executed. The bids will come in the end of this week, And it usually takes about 8 weeks to have the contracts executed and everything ready to go to construction. So we're expecting that to be, the end of March, first part of April before work were to begin.
Thank you. Very much needed. If you've driven that road recently, you'll understand the need for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, consider petition for reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Sandra G. Burnett. Any information on that? Anything additional?
No, the attorney has recommended that this be paid.
Okay. Any questions for the attorney or anyone else? All right, we'll move forward to the consent docket. Is there anything in the consent docket that needs to be pulled out for consideration by any of the commissioners? All right, approved declaration of emergency illness request for Kimberly Erb, Executive Assistant. I'll take a moment. For those of you who are not aware, Kimberly Erb is our Executive Assistant here at the County Commission. She delivered a healthy baby boy on Thursday morning. They are at home. I spoke with her today. They had their first night at home with the newborn child, and they survived that first night. So she was delighted to embark on day 2 at home. That is what that emergency illness is the birth of the child. Personnel notifications. Notification of resignation of Jesse McKinley Price, shop manager, effective 1/3/2017. Notification of retirement of Karen Myrick, corrections officer, lieutenant, effective 3/1/17. And now we'll proceed to the reports to the commission. Ms. McDuffie, who's fulfilling a dual role today.
I have no further report, but I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. McDuffie? All right, Highway Department report, Richie Byer.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in front of you, you should have a little black fob with a red chain around that. That is a gate key to the Highway Department. Some of you have come in off the 14 exit or entrance, and notice we keep that gate closed during all hours. Only people with those fobs can get in, and that's to help with some security around the back side of the shop and try to direct the public in through the Red Eagle Street entrance there. So you have that. You also have a map in front of you. This map contains the projects for FY17. A couple of them we've just spoke about with Double Bridge Ferry, and then the potential project with Millbrook. It's got other ones on there related to a joint project with the City of Millbrook on Deatsville Highway. This is one of those that the city has worked with the county to secure some MPO funds, and then we're helping them perform the work and getting reimbursed for our engineering cost. Myrick Road and the bridge replacements are upcoming in next month's letting in February. That and the Deatsville Highway project correlate well because we've got them timed to where Deatsville Highway finishes before the Myrick Road bridge replacements occur, and trying to keep that entire corridor over there as either one of them get used as detour routes when there's heavy traffic. And then there's a project on it for Dexter Pierce Chapel Road and then Airport Road later in the year too that involve federal aid funds. I gave you some roof estimates when you first came into office. Over the next several weeks we need to revisit those, especially the one related to this building, as we're kind of wrapping up and finishing the county energy project. There's some additional things that have been noted with the roof that require some immediate attention, and we're going to have to work with the administrator to figure out some ways to handle the financing on some of those to try to prevent some long-term damage to the existing building. On March 21st, I think every one of you should have gotten an email or been copied on an email about the next Elmore County safety meeting. As the county safety coordinator, that is a meeting we try to hold at least twice a year. If we can do it quarterly, we do that. That's where we discuss liability insurance information. I know Ms. McDuffie sent you some information about the county's coverage for liability and the upcoming contract. We kind of dig into the details of claims and things of that nature, talk to the different departments about concerns, and also talk about building needs and repairs. And at this March meeting, one thing we're going to do as we're kind of wrapping up the Blueprint 2020 large infrastructure investment is start talking to them about the smaller type things that they're bringing up to our maintenance staff and to the facility manager, Jimmy Woodall. Want to kind of try to capture those and get y'all a roadmap of some things that we need to do instead of either piecemealing or just being reactive. So we're going to spend some time on March 21st doing that. That meeting currently will be at the Highway Department's conference room, for the simple fact that this conference room, starting March 1, will be inoperable while they're doing construction for the annex and doing some improvements to this room back here. We've talked about A-Trip 2 over the last week with not only our mayors and y'all, but also getting some out in the press, and we appreciate the coverage there. We'll be talking a little bit more about that during our legislative meeting Wednesday with our delegation members. We should be getting those county infrastructure maps out in the next week or so. We should have a preview for our legislators of that map without the signatures on Wednesday when we meet with them. We would like to schedule a tour of the annex space. They're just about done with the decking on the roof, and they've got some pours to do on the stairwells. Once they do that, we'd like to take y'all through there, also show you the space allocation. You can look at a drawing on the wall outside of Grace's office, but until you kind of walk around in there, it kind of really doesn't make sense of the flow and all. So we'd like to schedule that in the next few weeks with y'all once those improvements are in place. I mentioned the Blueprint 2020 is wrapping up. We're very close to wrapping up the energy project. I think the estimates now are first to middle of March that we're going to be wrapping those up, and we'll be able to give y'all a report of those as we get ready to go into the monitoring stage. We've done a lot of response to the severe weather this past week. We appreciate the work of the EMA office and the commission as we've communicated back and forth. Maybe we haven't just blown up your phones with texts and all that, but that's probably been some of the most seamless communication that we've had with our elected officials since I've been here, and that's worked very well with the timeliness and the way everybody's responded. We're still dealing with a bunch of drainage issues. Some are old drainage issues that we've known about that, you know, there's some limitations on us, whether they're financial or physical, on how to address those, and then others are new ones that have popped up and we're addressing them. One thing that I'd like to say, if the press would pick up on it, one of our biggest issues we've had is people putting debris in the ditches, and how a lot of what we responded to was debris that clogged up pipes, and unfortunately it looked like some of that debris was willingly put in the county ditch. I don't know if they're getting ready to burn it later or they thought it'd get flushed somewhere, but that created a lot of problems for us, and we know it's our job to keep those ditches clean, but any help we can get from the public is greatly appreciated. And Mr. Chairman, the only other thing is the countywide cleanup days. Y'all have got those dates for February 11th. Just a little follow-up on the first date in January where we changed to our 6 sites. We had some confusion about the sites. Not everybody picked up on the messages that we were only going with the 6 sites. Some of them showed up to the 4 old sites. We also had a snafu up in Holtville because we moved from a corner intersection of Hogan and 111 to high school, and the high school had an event that morning, which delayed the truck getting set up and getting ready. We got that fixed as quick as possible, but there was about an hour lag where people were sent to another location and overloaded the town of Elmore. And I think even one of our commissioners had to go home and make a homemade sign to direct some people to another location. That will be corrected for the next time. We have signs at all 4 of the abandoned sites, giving information about the new sites, and then we're also, since we're swapping the town of Cusata and town of Elmore every month, they'll go back and forth to kind of service the Millbrook area. There'll be some additional signage there, so hopefully we'll have all that taken care of. We'll also have some people on the ground this weekend to help alleviate some of that. In addition to, we've got 2 roll-off dumpsters that are at the highway department now as part of our agreement with Advance, and we will use those towards the end of the 9 to 1 time frame, to where if we have any issues, that will be our overflow site for people that realistically are there before the 1 o'clock time frame. We won't be just keeping it open all day, but people that are sitting there when the truck gets full, we'll send them over there and then we'll close off the sites. So, long-winded report, I apologize for that, but a lot of information since the last time we met I wanted to share with y'all. Do you have any questions of me?
All right. Thank you, Richie. Emergency Management, Eric Jones.
Yes, gentlemen, on January the 18th, we had a AWR 160, or Crisis Management of School-Based Incidents Training course, and we had about 25 people from across the county, a lot of different disciplines. A lot of the school representatives were there, and it was an excellent training opportunity that was provided, and got a lot of really good positive feedback on it. This is the second time we've hosted this training, and we're going to bring it back probably in September. We've got a couple of other training classes we're working on hosting. We've got a standardized awareness, it's a hazard awareness training class in March that we're going to be hosting. And we're continually hosting the CPR AED training classes for any of the departments, the county departments or our partnering agencies. We've got the next one of those coming up is February 1st. The only other thing I really wanted to mention was the severe threat that we had this weekend and the severe weather that we had. Which we ended up with a number of damages across the county. I emailed the damage reports out to you all, and you know, it appears that the majority of what we've had is just wind damage or possibly some small spin-up tornadoes, just brief, you know, small spin-up tornadoes. I will say that the National Weather Service will be in the county sometime later in the week, maybe tomorrow. They might make it as early as tomorrow, but they will be in the county conducting a storm survey. They've got 4 different locations they want to look at. 2 definitely that they feel like we had, you know, just small tornadoes. Obviously here in Wetumpka we had the majority of the damages that we sustained were in Wetumpka, out between or near Redland, and then over in the Holtville community over the weekend. And I was very surprised that we didn't have more damage with regards to requests for individual needs. I really was. So it showed the tremendous cooperative spirit also this weekend of all of the agencies that come together and work together. We had a limited activation for part of the weekend, and then we had a very serious activation for the EOC, and we had plenty of assistance in the EOC, but then we also got a lot of requests to go and assist other jurisdictions that weren't impacted from a lot of agencies across the county. And again, it just shows the cooperative spirit that we have in the county from so many people. And like Richie said, the work that so many did this weekend, it's really awesome from my vantage point to be able to see what all is being done across the county. And the communications, I felt like we had pretty good communications. We did have some issues with email this weekend that negatively impacted our coordination effort, and I just want to say I appreciate Sam's efforts. Sam has really worked very hard and diligent trying to remedy those issues, and I know he's continuing to work on those, and we look forward to that being straightened out. But we really appreciate the efforts that Sam has gone through trying to help us with that as well. That's all I've really got as a report tonight. Do y'all have any questions of me at this time?
Go ahead. No. I'd like to say I appreciate your effort, Eric, and I was still awake after 12 when you sent that last text.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Eric, you mentioned the AED CPR classes. Can you tell me if any of those have been, if y'all have coordinated any of those with the school systems in Elmore County, particularly the high schools?
We have a standing offer to do that. We'll certainly be able to do that if somebody is interested in that. Anytime we host one of these courses, the Board of Education gets the opportunity to send whoever they would want to our facility, but if it's a situation where they would want to host one at their location, we have talked to several of them about that, and we'll certainly foster that. You know, Haynes Ambulance provides the training, and I can assure you that they would be willing, or I feel very sure that they would be willing to do that in the schools. So we could certainly reach out and help with that if we need to, certainly.
Thank you.
Certainly.
All right, Mr. Weller. Yeah.
Hey, I will say that the Board of Education actually had a situation up at Holtville High School, about 2 years ago, where a person was saved with an AED at the school campus because they had one that they could get to very quickly. And they used it in the gymnasium, and the right person knew what they were doing, and the doctor said they saved a life. So that is extremely important. So any way we can help, and it's not just the schools, but any way we can help any of our partnering agencies or civic organizations, anybody, with any of that type of training, please, if y'all find any way that we can help, let us know, and we'll help foster that to get it done.
Having been in the school systems, I do know that they all have AEDs strategically located and certain people trained within the school system that are trained personnel to operate those. And but I think, I'm not sure, but Commissioner Doctor, you may have been referring more to the students and preparing the students for some of that training. So we appreciate your efforts. Mr. Weller?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a report tonight, but I'd be glad to answer any questions commissioners may have.
Any questions? Okay, we'll go through our commission reports. We'll begin with Commissioner Holt in District 1.
I'd just like to say I appreciate, Richie, what you and Eric both did during the severe weather and staying in touch with us and letting us know what was going on, because you never know when you're going to get a call or what's going to happen next. So that's very important, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you folks being here tonight, too.
Thank you, Doctor.
I just echo what Kenny said. Thank you for the participation of all our county agencies, to include Sheriff Franklin and his department. He's not here tonight, but I know the 911 operators fielded a tremendous amount of calls during that time, and thank you to everyone involved, and thank you for coming to the meeting tonight.
Mr. Mercer?
Thank you. Yeah, I would, this time last week we were sitting here talking about the ice we had just experienced in the county, and so now we're dealing with water. We all dealt with it just like everybody else did in the county, and again, I appreciate y'all's effort. Y'all do a great job keeping us informed, as we all got phone calls over the weekend about specific issues throughout the county. I think some of y'all even went wading this weekend, if I understand it, Richie, to clean some ditches out, so I appreciate both of y'all's effort very much. Thank you for what you do.
Commissioner Reeves? I'd just like to encourage all of you in these times of severe weather, or if you're looking for information, these various departments do an excellent job of providing information on their websites, via Twitter, Facebook, and there are many other resources. And so I would encourage each of you, and I would encourage our media that's present tonight, to make sure that we are getting that information out to people of how they can get access to real-time information. I was in the EOC, and I could watch them get information, and then the information would go straight to Twitter or Facebook, and I was right there, but thousands of people were getting the same information instantaneously. So it is as if you are sitting right there in the EOC. So I'd encourage all of you to take advantage of that. And I'd also like to express gratitude to the organizers of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration, which was held last Sunday at the First Presbyterian Church. They graciously invited the Elmore County Commission to attend. It was a delightful event. There were lots of people there, and I feel I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, because those are the types of events that really can make a difference in the county that we live in. And so I am delighted not only to have been invited to attend, but to see all the people that were there. And we will now turn the time over to Ms. McDuffie for important calendar dates.
Yes, Wednesday, January the 25th is Elmore County Legislation Day at the State House at 8:40 a.m. Saturday, February the 11th, Countywide Cleanup Day from 9 to 1 at the Central Elmore Water and Sewer Authority Redland facility, the Cusata Post Office, Hopeful High School, Elmore County Judicial Complex, Emerald Mountain Equestrian Center, and at Kent at the Old Highway Department building. Monday, February the 13th is our next county commission work session at 5 with the business meeting immediately following.
All right, thank you, and we will recess and we'll be back shortly for the business meeting. All right, we'd like to call the business meeting for our County Commission meeting Monday, January 23rd, 2017, back to order. We'd like to invite Richie Byer to offer the invocation.
Join me in prayer, please. Father, thank you for this evening, and thank you for the opportunities that you give us here in our great county. And Lord, I just thank you for the blessings and mercy that you've shown us over the especially the past few days over the weekend with the severe weather and how you guided us through it, and even at the end showed us a sign of your glory with the large rainbow that showed up after the event yesterday. Lord, I just thank you for these men that have been elected to lead this county, and I just pray for you to give them the wisdom and the knowledge and the insight to perform the work for the county and make the decisions for the county that best meet your will, Lord. And I just thank you also for the men and women that are defending this country and giving us the right to practice the democracy that we have and the abilities that you give us. I just pray for your continued protection over them, Lord, and again, just thank you for everything that you do for us. I pray all this in your Son's precious name. Amen.
Amen. All right, Commissioner Holt will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would everybody stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. McDuffie, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Holt. Commissioner Daughtry.
Here.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Here.
Commissioner Mercer. Commissioner Reeves.
All right, proceeding with our regular business, a motion to approve the minutes of the January 9, 2017 Commission meeting. Any corrections? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Holt. Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
All right, motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period of January 5, 2017 through January 18, 2017. Any discussion? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, proceeding with our new business, a motion to approve or deny the financing Highway Department equipment with Hancock Bank based on the lowest overall interest rates for the equipment package.
Motion.
Second.
All right, Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, motion to approve or deny the county engineer to expend up to $30,000 to improve and relocate Burke Road off Grandview Road as per requested by the City of Millbrook to improve access into the Millbrook Business Park.
So motion. Second.
Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, motion to approve or deny the Double Bridge Ferry Road funding agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, motion to approve or deny petition for the reimbursement of excess funds from tax sale of real property by Sandra G. Burnett.
Motion to approve.
Second. Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt.
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry.
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer.
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, proceeding to the consent docket, approve the declaration of emergency illness request for Kimberly Erb, Executive Assistant.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt,
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes.
All right, personnel notifications, the notification of resignation of Jesse McKinley Price, shop manager, effective 1/3/17. Notification of retirement of Karen Myrick, corrections officer, lieutenant, effective 3/1/17. Any additional report from Ms. McDuffie?
No, Chairman.
Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, one thing, when y'all were giving kudos around, we appreciate that, but one group that got left off was our volunteer fire departments, and we really appreciate the work they did this, past weekend. They helped us out tremendously on a lot of things. I just want to make sure that was noted.
Thank you. Mr. Jones? All right, Mr. Weller? All right, any commissioners have anything additional to comment? All right, let's review the important calendar dates. Ms. McDuffie?
Wednesday, January 25th, 2017, Elmore County Legislative Day. Meet at the State House at 8:40 a.m. Saturday, February the 11th, 2017, Countywide Cleanup Day from 9 to 1 at the Central Elmore Water and Sewer Authority, Redland Facility, Cusata Post Office, Hopeful High School, Elmore County Judicial Complex, Emerald Mountain Equestrian Center, and Kent at the old Highway Department building. Monday, February the 13th is our next commission work session at 5 p.m. with the business meeting immediately following.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Ms. McDuffie?
Commissioner Holt, Commissioner Daughtry,
Yes.
Commissioner Stubbs,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercer,
Yes.
Commissioner Reeves.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.